Imagine this: you're sailing across the vast Atlantic Ocean when you spot a ship drifting silently in the distance. No distress signals, no signs of life, just an eerie calm. As you approach, you realize something's very wrong. The decks are deserted, the sails are tattered, meals sit untouched on the table, the lifeboat is missing, but there's no blood, no bodies, no sign of struggle. This is not the beginning of a horror movie. This is the true story of the Mary Celeste, the most chilling maritime mystery in history. It was December 5th, 1872. A British ship called Dei Gratia was sailing through the Atlantic Ocean about 600 miles west of Portugal. That's when they spotted her, a brigantine slowly drifting through the waves. It was the Mary Celeste, a ship that had left New York 8 days earlier, and it should have been safely on its way to Italy. But something was terribly wrong. When the crew of the Dei Gratia boarded the ghost ship, they found it completely abandoned. There were no signs of violence, no sign of fire, no flooding, no damage that could explain why the crew had vanished. The ship's cargo, over 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol, was mostly intact. The crew's belongings were undisturbed. There was even a sewing machine with a child's dress neatly folded beside it. It was as if the crew had vanished into thin air. The Mary Celeste was captained by Benjamin Briggs, a well-respected sailor known for his discipline and faith. He brought along his wife, Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia. The rest of the crew included 7 experienced sailors. In total, 10 people were aboard. Captain Briggs was known to be calm, religious, and meticulous. He even invested in the ship himself. It made no sense that a man like him would abandon ship without a fight, especially with his family on board. And yet, they were gone. So what happened on the Mary Celeste? Over the past 150 years, countless theories have been proposed, some logical, others bordering on science fiction. Let's start with the natural causes. Explosion risk. The ship was carrying alcohol, and some believe that vapor from the cargo may have built up and created a small explosion or violent noise. This could have panicked the crew into thinking the ship was about to blow, so they evacuated. But the explosion theory doesn't explain why they never returned, especially if the ship remained intact. Waterspout or rogue wave. A sudden oceanic event might have made the captain believe the ship was sinking. But again, the ship was seaworthy when found, so why not return? Poisoning. Some speculate that contaminated food or water caused mass hallucinations, but that's pure guesswork. There's no evidence. Then we have the human element. Pirates? The ship was still carrying its cargo and valuables, so robbery seems unlikely. Mutiny? Captain Briggs was respected and the crew were hand-picked. No signs of struggle, no signs of blood. Insurance fraud? Some suggested the whole thing was staged to collect insurance. But again, the cargo was valuable and still there, and Briggs had invested his own money. And of course, there are the stranger theories. Sea monsters or giant squid attacks, fun to imagine, but let's be honest, there's no real evidence. Alien abduction. Yes, this has been proposed. The complete lack of evidence is actually what fuels these more bizarre theories. Time slip or portal. The idea that the ship passed through some kind of rift in time or space. Again, zero proof, but it certainly adds to the legend. The Mary Celeste was towed to Gibraltar, where an official investigation took place. But after months of inquiry, the British authorities couldn't find any conclusive reason for the crew's disappearance. There were whispers of foul play, but no charges ever stuck. The ship was eventually sold, refitted, and continued sailing for years, but it was said to be cursed. One of its later captains deliberately ran it aground in a failed insurance scam. The Mary Celeste was left to rot on a reef off Haiti, her bones scattered by the sea. To this day, the Mary Celeste remains one of the most perplexing ghost ship cases ever recorded. How can a seaworthy ship commanded by a respected captain, with no signs of violence or panic, simply be abandoned? Where did they go? What made them leave? And perhaps most haunting of all, why did they never return? We may never know, but the ghost of the Mary Celeste still sails in our imaginations, drifting forever on a sea of unanswered questions. If you enjoyed this dive into one of history's greatest mysteries, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more strange stories from the edge of reality.